Hollywood never learns. This is about Supergirl.
You know, I once drank a shot glass full of chili sauce for a bet on a night out, and the resulting explosive.
I love the critical drinker. I've been watching his videos like 2 years longer than Asmongold has. I watched them back from around Battle Angel Alita. I started watching his videos. Great. Agree with everything.
Injection of liquid fire from my body the next morning was enough to have me praying to the gods of chaos themselves, anything to release me from the torment. But you know what? That was still more fun than watching Supergirl, partly because I won the bet, so at least I made some money out of it, but mostly because at least it was over quickly. Supergirl, on the other hand, stretched out into almost 2 hours of abject misery and boredom, and by golly, do you feel it. I was gonna say you feel it by the end, but who am I kidding? I was feeling it after like 20 minutes.
Also, if you don't like seeing dogs get hurt, don't go see Supergirl.
I hate this. It is revolting.
Is it really that
Supergirl
bad?
is everything we all feared it would be.
Holy shit.
From reviews I hear, it's like a 5 out of 10.
More, so much more. A cringy, cliched, tedious mess of dull, lifeless action scenes that we've seen a million times before.
Is that the same thing Superman
That
did?
fucking face, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus.
One-dimensional characters with nothing.
You want your superheroes looking cool and sexy, not like that.
And even resembling arcs, the kind of safe, edgy humor that's become the hallmark of these factory-produced superhero flicks, all the usual played-out James Gunnisms that ran their course like half a decade ago, cinematography that looks like someone smeared the results of my chili sauce shot all over the camera lens, and a protagonist.
Yeah. The James Gunn thing of the scrappy, second-run team, like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. They're a bunch of losers come together to do something. Yeah, that was fun, that works. But this is Supergirl. Trying to make her the scrappy loser that's drunk and, Rocket, it works. Maybe any one of the Guardians of the Galaxy you could have this type of story with. But not Supergirl.
Who's about as likable and empathetic as a British politician. In short, Supergirl is a fucking disaster. The wrong movie at the wrong time.
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, it makes sense that, or Suicide Squad, it makes sense to have alcoholic, not taking care of yourself characters. That's a good way to put it. The characters that don't give a fuck about, just not caring about how they look or their health or anything like that. They're just complete junkies. But you do that with Supergirl, who has the power of Superman, basically. That's like you win the lottery if you're like Superman or Supergirl. And you have all this power and then you still act like a loser. It's just pathetic.
Based on the wrong source material, made by the wrong people, and starring the wrong actress. But we'll talk.
So it just sucks. Okay, he just hates it.
More about that later.
Oh my god.
Believe that. Anyway, fuck it, let's just do the plot. So a series of flashbacks explain how Kara's father separated a chunk of Krypton called Argo City from the rest of the planet when it got destroyed.
Yeah.
But oh no, it also released kryptonite, or something, and everyone's slowly dying of radiation poisoning, so her parents send her and her dog Krypto off to Earth to meet up with Clark. But she's like, nah, I'm too cool for you, and spends most of her time dicking around on planets with red suns so that she can get drunk and party, and look like the kind of girl you'd find passed out in a pool of her own vomit round the back of a nightclub on a Sunday.
Yes, someone acting like that, if it's a character whose entire family has died, they have nothing to live for, and yes, to one degree, it's true with Supergirl, because she did lose Krypton, but having superpowers like that is the same thing as having vast wealth. It means you're set for life. You don't get given a gift like that and then waste it.
Jesus, man. Tell us how you really feel.
Morning.
Oh my god.
Wow, what's an inspirational character. Can't wait to see more of this. So we pick up with Kara celebrating her 23rd birthday by, you guessed it, getting drunk and partying.
Wow.
That's when she meets up with Ruthie, who's out to kill some dickhead named Krem in revenge for murdering her family. But Kara's like, nah, it'll be fine. But it turns out it won't be fine when Krem himself shows up and steals Kara's ship and shoots Crypto with a poison dart that'll kill him in 3 days if he doesn't get an antidote.
Yes. Yeah. He couldn't just shoot the dog and kill it. He had to shoot it with a poison dart and make it die in 3 days.
Oh my god. Is this real? Like, there's no way, right?
It's real. It's real. It's real.
Well, that was lucky, wasn't it? Lucky the antagonist of the movie just happens to show up right after he's been mentioned. Lucky that he shoots Crypto with a slow-acting poison instead of just vaporizing him or something.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you just kill the dog or take the dog with you? Or I mean, why?
Lucky this all creates the perfect setup for our reluctant hero to join forces with young, strong female character.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so off they go to track down Krem and his gang of Mad Max rejects, and then Lobo shows up for like 5 minutes to give Jason Momoa something to do. Then they accidentally get an innocent family killed, and Kara gets sick from the green sun on the...
You know what? I watched an entire video on the plot of Supergirl 2, and they didn't even mention Lobo. That's how little importance he had to the plot. Is that they didn't even mention him.
Planet, but then she gets better, and there's a big fight where she stops Ruthie from killing Krem because revenge is bad or something. But then she kills him anyway because she's not your typical superhero. And then she saves Crypto and goes back to Earth because she's decided it's finally worth her attention.
Yeah, notice how Lobo in the Critical Drinker just mentions Lobo. He was there for that part. He had no relevance to the plot. Because like there's no way Supergirl could need help in rescuing her dog. Yeah, she's a strong, independent woman that doesn't need no Lobo.
Really? Real? Oh my god. This is what they say.
This is Asmongold stuttering. What I do way too much. Speechless. I love it.
Whenever they're talking about goy slop.
And that's it. That's the plot for Supergirl.
It's all bullshit. All of it.
Now, I'd be lying if I said it went into this movie expecting
Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of his good roles.
great things from it, but I've got to admit, I was surprised. And the thing that surprised me most was how fucking shit the writing was.
Yeah?
I mean, the dialogue
really
is
surprising?
exactly what you'd...
No, it doesn't surprise me when I found out that the writer of this has no experience whatsoever in writing anything. I could have written something better than this.
expect from something like this. The usual mix of trite one-liners, desperate attempts at edginess, the kind of cringe meta-humor that can only come from millennial Hollywood writers, and of course those...
Why do an entire movie with a DI writer? Someone that has no experience whatsoever. Of course it's going to flop. It's junk. It's number one criticism everyone has of this movie is the writing sucks. Well, that's because you have a writer with no experience. It's obvious. But why $200 million movie? Gamble that on a no-name writer.
Glad that he's calling it out to millennial Hollywood writers.
Wacky Marvel quips. That's all par for the course in 2026, but it's the story that really lets this movie down. The plot is nothing but a series of and-then coincidences, all strung together with the most flimsy justification.
Yeah, you want real stories with three-dimensional women. Yes, we want that. And also, we don't want the protagonist, whether it's a man or a woman, to be just a pathetic loser junkie that just drinks all day and has no ambitions, no goals, and is just a loser. Who wants that type of hero?
The characters themselves are just along for the ride. Major events take place and people show up for no other reason than to make the rest of the plot happen. Kara gets sick and weak when she's exposed to a green sun in the second act low point, but then she just gets better when a yellow sun helpfully comes out. There's no particular trial she has to go through, no lessons learned, no difficult.
Do you remember what I said before about this is the reason why they're unable to write good female characters?
Oh, apparently I heard more about this. She goes, when she's chasing after the bandit who took her ship and poisoned her dog, she goes to this planet that has a green sun and a yellow sun. Isn't that convenient? I'm just thinking, this is a type of planet a bad writer creates. That means whenever the writer wants her to be weak, the green sun comes out. And whenever the writer wants her to be strong, the yellow sun comes out. Makes for such lazy writing. It means at any time the writer wants Kara to lose, the green sun. Wants Kara to win, yellow sun.
Is because they're unable to give female characters any sort of genuine observable flaws because they don't want to portray women as being problematic or weak or bad. So this is what happens, is that you have all of these different, movies where they're unable to make a compelling or an interesting, female character.
Well, she's a drunkard, which I don't know if that's a very positive aspect for a woman. She's a loser. But it's okay as long as all the men are bigger losers, and apparently that's true. Like apart from Superman, all men in this movie are either wimpy, pathetic bastards that will betray you to save their own skin, or they're evil, pathetic bastards that like the guy who shoots the dog. There are no good men
because they don't.
Besides Superman,
want to make the female character problematic or weak or anything like that. There's no hero's journey.
Choices to make.
There's no
the plot
character
says that
arc.
it's time for
There's
the big
nothing.
final battle, so it happens. Lobo shows up out of nowhere for like 5 minutes because he looks cool and the script needed some fan service and everyone likes Jason Momoa. And he does exactly what he always does, plays Jason Momoa. Honestly though, you could cut him right out of this movie and everything would play out exactly the same.
Yeah, the other review I watched, I don't think they did it on purpose. They described every scene as they remembered it, and they explained the whole movie, and they didn't even mention Lobo. He is completely irrelevant to this movie. And that means he's wasted. And it's sad that his scenes might be the best part of the movie because they have nothing to do with the plot.
In fact, I'm pretty convinced that the bulk of his scenes were added in post-production.
So they just had him go in there and just do a few dumb things and are like, oh, guys will like this. Maybe it'll get guys to actually watch this movie then. Zombieland is a good example of what they need to do. Well, yeah, and I think that generally,
And from what I hear, Lobo and Kara never fight. And it makes sense because he would crush her because first time we meet is on a red planet sun. And I'm sorry, Lobo is an enemy Superman fights when he's fully powered. So an depowered Supergirl is going to get crushed by Lobo. So, of course, they can't have the two fight.
what happens is that these movies, I have to say it, is that superhero movies post Endgame are goy slop. They absolutely are goy slop.
Yeah, for the most part, there are exceptions like Spider-Man No Way Home, I think it was. That was a good one. Any others I can think of? I'm sure there's one or two other. Oh! He's not the Deadpool and Wolverine. Good one. And that was post Endgame. So there are exceptions to every rule. But he's right.
Some of the original ones were really good, but now they are just garbage. They're all so bad. Cape shit, they are.
It's just a generic
no one in his chat is mentioning Deadpool. Sad.
bad guy who does bad stuff because, fuck it, who even cares? He's just
Nobody
there to
gives
give
a
the rest
shit.
of the characters something to...
And he is not a villain that can take on a fully powered Superman. He's a villain that can only win if Kara is under a red sun or green sun and depowered, which makes he's a pretty pathetic villain.
There's no real substance to him, no big overarching plan or hidden justification for what he's doing. He's just a space pirate crossed with Mad Max. His death means nothing because his life meant nothing either.
Yeah.
Jesus, who wrote this shit? Oh yeah, Anna Nogueira, a former TV actress whose writing credits amount to fuck all. I mean, literally,
Exactly.
the only thing I could find about her was We Win.
Wait, so she wrote Supergirl and she only had one other thing that she had wrote previously, and it was in 2018?
Yes, no experience. A writer with no experience. This is how you get a movie with a terrible plot.
Is this real?
A micro-budget short film from 8 years
It's
ago
real.
about a couple's relationship that unravels during a game of Mafia.
What?
Oh yeah, that totally justifies putting her in charge of a $200 million super...
And that's on James Gunn. I mean, he chose her as the lead writer of this. And it might have been a DAI hire that was forced upon him, but he's still, in name, the guy in charge of the DCU.
blockbuster. You're seriously telling me you couldn't find anyone better qualified for this job than a failed actress who
I will put it to you this way. Anyone would have been more qualified from this job than this failed actress. I mean, he couldn't have made a worse plot than this.
aged out of the industry with precisely one screenwriting credit to her name? Fuck off, James Gunn. Honestly, I'm
Why would you do that?
surprised you didn't cast your own wife in this just so you could watch her get railed by Lobo. Then there's Kara.
The story was based on a comic book? Well, yeah, but you have to...
From what I hear, it was supposed to be based on a comic book, but they changed everything. It was like when it was a good story in the comic book, and they changed absolutely everything. It had nothing to do with that story anymore.
Be able to adapt it in a way that makes sense, right? I feel like that's kind of how you're supposed to do things.
Herself, who's apparently based on the not particularly popular Tom King run of comic books, which helpfully ignore half a century of character development to paint Kara as a cringy punk rock anti-hero.
I hate this.
I mean, I
Supergirl
can't say I'm
was supposed to be an
surprised, to be
anti-hero?
honest.
What?
That little cameo she got...
Yeah, all famous superheroes, Superman, Spider-Man, all of them. At some point, they have runs of comics that have the comic book artists change their personality in different ways and for various reasons. And it's fun to have departures, but it's not what people want when they go see Supergirl movie. The run of comic where Supergirl wasn't actually Supergirl.
At the end of Superman already told us what kind of an annoying arsehole she was gonna be.
Thanks for watching him, bitch!
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Not since...
And that is
Perfect
so
quote.
accurate, because really the reason why I think people dislike this so much is that we all probably know
We hate bad stories. We hate when the characters we love are debased and degraded like this. And we hate the girl bosses we've been getting for years. And we've seen so many of our franchises being completely butchered by the woke. So, yeah, we're done with this.
at least one Foyd in our lives that thinks that she's the main character and that her life is a movie and that behaves this way in real life. And it's so insufferable and annoying. And now you have to watch it in a movie. I don't like it. I don't think a lot of people do.
The Marvels have I liked a main character less than this
Try
one.
10.
There's this weird
Yeah.
feeling of mild desperation throughout the whole movie where they're trying so hard not to make her a Mary Sue that she just comes across as an annoying bitch who doesn't care about anything or anyone but herself. You know the
Oh, I guess it must have been a self-insert.
kind of girl who flips the bird with a mildly pissed off expression in every single picture she ever takes because she really needs you to know how much cooler she is than you. Well, that's
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. No one likes lame characters.
basically Kara in this movie. It's horseshoe theory projected onto characterization, where going far enough away from something ends up looping you right back to where you started. An insufferable arsehole. They're trying so hard to paint her as this jaded, cynical, world-weary pragmatist who's tried and failed to be a...
Yeah, what he just described, that is the Guardians of the Galaxy character archetype. That is a Suicide Squad archetype. For those franchises, it sort of works. If you're in the Suicide Squad, of course you're jaded, whatever. And if you're one of the losers in Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, like someone like Raccoon, who has that horrible backstory, makes sense that you're jaded. But Supergirl?
hero and just wants to be left alone now, but it doesn't fucking work because she's like 23 years old. This is the...
Yeah, you can't do that for a young female character because obviously they're not going to have the same experience as somebody. Like, the reason why that works for a Jason Statham movie is because Jason Statham is like 50 years old.
Yes, he's past his prime. He's already lost his chance. That's why it works for him. And in the Suicide Squad, these are convicted criminals that are in a Suicide Squad. You can't get more fucked up than that. Of course, you're going to be cynical and jaded. If you're Guardians of the Galaxy, you're bottom of the barrel wannabe hero or a thief with a tree friend. Yeah, of course you're jaded and cynical like that, and you end up in jail there too. But if you're Supergirl, you've won the superpower lottery. And you are the representative of your people. And you're the power of a god. Why are you wallowing in self-pity?
So, like, it makes sense that, or like John Wick, he's like 50 years old. So it makes sense that that's what's happening. But, like, you can't go and do this for, some random young girl. It's another goy flop.
The kind of thing you do with a 50-year-old man, not some young girl who's just...
How?
And it's also the superpowers, the Superman level power. You don't get to wallow in self-pity when you have what millions would kill for.
How about that?
Starting out. Like,
how
the
about
fuck
that?
do you have a life of regrets when you've barely even lived a life to begin with? If they had to do some kind of anti-hero arc with her, they should have made her this rebellious, energetic, loose cannon who acts first and thinks later, convinced that she can help everyone, only to discover real life is more complicated than
They're not going to do that. They would never do that because it would make her look stupid, and it could overlap with existing female negative stereotypes. So
yeah, if they did that type of story, Supergirl might need a man to tell her how to do things.
They would never do that. And that's the problem with a lot of this media, is that the media is written inside of the context of existing stereotypes. And
the biggest nerf to women characters in this woke Hollywood is a woman can never need a man. And it's much bigger nerf than you think because that means a woman can never love a man. That's why all these Captain Marvel, etc. If you truly love someone, you need them. And you need them, that's what the feminists reject. It also means you can't get trained by a man if you're a superhero, so your mentor also always has to be a woman, or it means in battle you can never be helped out by a man, so it puts so many limitations. That's why in this movie, Lobo is useless, because they can't have Supergirl need him, and all Lobo is good for is fighting. And if she doesn't need him in a fight, what purpose is Lobo in this movie?
And cultural norms. So, like, they're never going to make a woman look weak or stupid or, anything like that. Anything that could make it look like a woman is in...
Yeah, apparently there's a bar fight where Kara is dead drunk and she half, this is on Red Planet Sun, where she's depowered, normal human level power. A full room of burly guys, and she takes them all out, depowered. One review thought that was completely insane, because even depowered, she's overpowering men 5 times her size, 3 times her size.
Inferior to a man. A lot of stereotypes exist for a reason. Yeah, of course they do.
Punching the bad guy.
True.
You have to show us the fall so that we can cheer for the rise. Ultimately, for all the hype and controversy swirling around it, Supergirl is nothing but a depressingly bleak, horrible-looking, uninspired, generic superhero movie whose only USP turns out to be its biggest weakness.
Yeah, I was not seeing this movie from just the scenes I've seen of Supergirl, like when she called Superman bitch, and the way she doesn't even train her dog. Yeah, I'm just not interested in this type of character.
Weakness. Yes, young women really can be messy, self-absorbed failures, but here's...
Wait, young women can be messy, self-absorbed failures? I need a movie to tell me that? That's crazy.
Thing this movie doesn't really get. They probably shouldn't. It's a movie that no one seemed particularly excited for, pushing a character no one cares about in a cinematic universe that's barely started but already seems to be in its death throes. And well, Supergirl is nothing but another nail in the coffin.
Man.
Anyway, that's all of...
I never saw Superman, the James Gunn Superman. And when I heard some of the retarded stuff that was in the plot, Yeah, I wasn't interested. But also, I heard that Superman is a side character in his own movie. Yes, of course, Mr. Terrific, a black superhero I've never heard of that's had to be made the center stage in the Superman movie. Of course, because this is woke Hollywood.
For today, go away now.
I'll tell you this, that this is a good video. Make sure to give it a like. This is, I watch Critical Drinker videos all the time. I think they're really, really good. And I feel like in general, like it's so obnoxious and annoying. It's the same fem slop that we got with Captain Marvel. It is. And it's always the same. You're always going to get the same annoying fucking...
Yes. Well, in the case of here, you're going to have writers with no experience and a terrible story. Plus the woke shit. Oh, God. No. I can't go see any movies these days without looking at reviews first. I don't trust them. Anyway, this will be on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Come watch on Kick or Twitch, and I'll see you next video. Bye.